And a lot of this, the reason why I keep mentioning SOC analysts, because they're the ones who do a lot of the detect function. You as a GRC person, your exposure to this could be that you're a SOC analyst, because SOC analysts would be, in some cases, are part of the risk management portion of the organization. So a lot of times in my job, just looking through my entire career doing any kind of GRC work, my exposure to, outside of being an actual SOC analyst, which I was, but in GRC type positions, I can tell you the detect function was me working with CTI, or cyber threat intelligence people. There was a whole nother group of people. They do that. That was their whole job. I would work with vulnerability analyst or vulnerability management. So there would be a whole different team of people, or one subject matter expert who we would work with to figure out, to get the numbers to management. So we'd be a part of some of those meetings where they were talking about, here's the vulnerabilities we discovered, or here's some incidents we discovered. So a lot of times you'll be a part of those discussions. You do need to know a little bit. You don't have to know how to set up Splunk. You don't have to be able to engineer and set up a Splunk instance, or set up a SIEM or something like that. You don't need to know how to do network traffic analysis necessarily in most GRC positions that I've been in. You do need to know, the basics of information technology, the basics of networking, the basics of computing, basics of cloud. You do need to know those things, because when you're in the meeting, you have to understand those things. Now, it really depends on the job. There are very technical GRC positions, very, very technical GRC, where you are setting up the content that goes on Splunk or whatever. There are GRC positions like that. But I'm just telling you from my experience as purely GRC positions that I've worked, typically there's subject matter experts there, and you need to be able to talk to them. You need to be able to communicate with them. And that means that you're going to have to do your homework to know information technology well. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you you need to be a subject matter expert on it for a GRC position. It really depends on what position you get. I'm just telling you from what I've seen since 2000, maybe all of this stuff, the trends will change or whatever. But from working in the public sector, the private sector, and all of this as a GRC person, I haven't had to be a SOC analyst. I didn't have to know SANS 503.2 or be a forensics guy. All right. That there was another team that would assist us in that. And I would be a part of some of their meetings and things like that. My main job as a GRC person, and your main job, is going to be able to articulate and explain and speak the language of your peers, other cybersecurity people, of the subject matter experts who are working the firewall, working the servers, server administrators, working cloud, working in forensics, doing SOC analysts. You need to be able to speak to them as well as C-level execs. That is what you're going to need to do. And that's why I say you will have to be able to speak the language, which means you need to have a solid understanding of IT fundamentals and best security practices, right? So I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that you don't need to have to know anything about anything with GRC, because you do. The thing is, you don't have to be in the weeds. You're not implementing it. You're not necessarily configuring it usually, but it depends on the job. Okay, let's keep going here. Where are we? So we're on benefits of continuous monitoring, enhanced security posture. So if we are continuously monitoring, we can always get our security posture better and better. Security posture is a fancy word for what is our security status. Where are we at? What kind of vulnerabilities do we have? Are we getting better? What are our known vulnerabilities, and where can we fix? Where are we at from a cybersecurity perspective? We're going to be more aware of threat detection. Because we're proactive with it. So we're going out there and actively looking for threats rather than waiting for those threats to hit us. Another benefit of continuous monitoring is being compliance. We're aware of what compliance we need to hit, and what we're missing, what's our gaps, and then going forward with it.